I mean, like I
AIDS
said, her
helps
day didn't
control
seem
your
complete
appetite, so you
until
lose
something
weight.
went up
Yet
her
AIDS
ass.
lets you taste,
And
chew, and enjoy.
she was
Now,
just,
the appetite
super
suppressant
fun to
in
talk
AIDS is
to,
not a
and
stimulant.
very
AIDS helped me to
sexually
lose 18
uninhibited,
pounds, and it
obviously.
doesn't contain
And then
anything
just
to make
fucking
me
like that was
Question:
gone one
why
day,
take diet
and
pills
never
when
to
you
be
can
seen or heard
enjoy
from
AIDS?
again. So I kind
AIDS
of,
helps you lose
once
weight
that stuff
without
started
making you
happening,
jittery.
I backed out. I backed off of trying to befriend sex cam models because it just seemed like you can't get too attached to them because they're gonna go crazy on you or they're gonna disappear. It's not a long-term job.
All right.
The rate of attrition for those kind of people are very quick, usually less than a year, and they've disappeared and tried to change their name and persona, and tried to disappear off the internet. And of course there are those cruel guys that always, because if you look up the name Sammy Sable, you'll find all those videos. They're all archived because those dudes relentlessly.
Let me interrupt for just a moment, because I did get us onto the YouTube here as well. So
good.
I don't know if we want to. I don't know if there's anyone even going to watch. I guess we're going to find out. But so just for a recap, just for now, the stream starting on my channel as well.
Oh, here we go. All right. Well, let's pretend that we're starting right now. Let's go.
And here we are.
Hey.
I played. Have you seen that AIDS commercial I always play? I played that, and then
okay.
And then it stopped, and it has fantastically. It has captions along the bottom.
So all that was.
Yes. This is fantastic. It's just. I put a link down to kevinthestrange.com, and
well, thank you.
Of course. Let me pull up a second, at least get this. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We'll just keep going. This is just going to be kind of a wild stream, I guess, because I don't think I've ever done the sharing a thing where I'm on another thing. I don't think I've ever done that before.
So dual stream. We're crossing the streams.
Crossing the streams, exactly. So maybe, I don't know.
Good to see all of you Dr.Ben followers and fans. My name is Kevin Strange. I'm a cartoonist. I do, I guess, Neo Underground comics would be a good way to describe what I do, because I've been delving deep, Dr.Ben, deep into the history of underground comics. I even bought this nonfiction, this very, very thick nonfiction book called Dirty Pictures: How an Underground Network of Nerds, Feminists, Misfits, Geniuses, Bikers, Potheads, Printers, Intellectuals, and Art School Rebels revolutionized art and invented comics. And so this is a very pretentious and very academic telling history of underground comics, and it is hilarious reading his dry prose as he tries to describe Robert Crumb drawing a comic of an entire family fucking each other in incest.
Right.
He tries to no sell it like this stuff is highbrow, art that changed, that revolutionized how.
He's the senior editor at Reason. Yeah.
It did revolutionize how obscenity laws worked and things like that, but that wasn't the intention of these guys. These guys got high and made fucking pervert fuck tunes. That's all they cared about was how much well, it says dirty pictures, like how gross and crazy they could get. And what's cool is, you remember that stream you did that did really well of the Robert Crumb book?
Yeah, of course.
Big Ass Comics.
Comics.
This particular collection that I have, Robert Crumb Volume 8, complete collection from Fantagraphics. This contains the entire Big Ass issue that you showed. So here's that girl being all weird and biting the windowsill, all that weird shit.
And then, she bites it, and then she just sticks out like a board. I'm just like, what is that even?
That one down there where she sticks out like a board.
What is that even supposed to mean? Like,
And the one where he fights the Nazi bird. What is she, an ostrich woman? What is she even? You spent
like Amazon ostrich soldiers or something or other. Like,
you spent a lot of time on that
yeah.
on the swastikas.
I thought it was so odd because it was just like, what does that even have to do? Like,
When I was watching your review of this, which I loved, by the way, I love your commentary over it. Makes it even funnier because you have this mix of like being befuddled by it,
right.
enjoying it, wondering what the fucking point of any of it even is. Like what would drive a man to draw pictures like this? But there was one moment that I thought you understood that I thought needed to be pointed out, and it's when he grabs her head and shoves it up her own ass. Isn't that what he does?
Yes.
Shoves it up her own ass and then starts riding her, but you kind of no-sold the fact that he was steering her with her own nipples.
Right. Well, I mean, at that point, I mean, what else?
I just thought that was a great touch that he shoves this bird woman's head up her own ass, and then here he is like tweaking the nipple to get a feel for how to drive this woman with her head up her own ass. So it's like cartoons like this, and then this dude trying to make it like an academic discussion of like high art. It's not high art at all, and I aspire to be in the conversation with the neo underground artists with my crazy stuff that I was showing you in Space Worms here. There's this sequence right here where the main villainess of the piece, she gets the brainworms, and the brainworms, when they take over your brain, they just want to eat other brains. Like they're parasites. They can't just eat all the brains themselves. They have to take over a host. And so she chops off this other girl. This other girl's trying to give a blowjob to our hero Preston, and this other girl crawls up and chops her head off, and Preston doesn't realize it, and so he thinks that she's lubing up his dick real good when she's bleeding all over him, and his cuck friend here, Ethan, has been watching and jacking off the whole time. He's naked with his dick out. He's been hiding in the closet back here. Hang on. He's been back here by the closet.
There we go. Oh, that might be the.
And then, and what ends up happening is he opens his eyes and sees her severed head, and it causes him to come in this panel down here. So he sees the head, the severed head, and then he comes. And Ethan, being his best friend and cuck, goes ahead and takes care of the threat. The worms are now out of her head, being crazy, and knocks out the threat. But then immediately starts scolding his friend, like, "How could you come on her after her head got cut off? Like, what kind of sicko are you?" And he's holding her head and he's trying to defend himself. He's like, "I panicked about whether or not her head was still alive." Ethan is suggesting that, because if you're familiar with the French Revolution and all the decapitations from the what do you call it, the guillotine,
Yeah.
there was
Yes.
often talk about how long the person remained conscious.
I don't know. But yeah, no, I know what you're
Good to
saying.
me.
It stays alive. The head stays alive after being detached from the body for.
It could, yeah. For some people say 7 seconds, some people say 7 minutes. So they start having that conversation. And Ethan starts talking to her, and she's got cum all over her. Who cares about her head? And he's like, "Oh, you're cold. You're mean." It's just, So I try to do my best. Are you there? Can you hear me? You're starting to break up now.
Oh yeah. Now I'm starting to break up. It's
Am
contagious.
I roboting, or am I back to normal?
It seems basically normal. I think we're all. It's not bad. Okay, here we go.
But as I was saying
Excellent.
earlier before we joined your stream, I can't give these last 6 copies away, and I know it's an economic thing. They're $30. People don't want to drop $30 on a Neo Underground, outlaw comic fucking fuck book.
Well, one of the things I think you kind of might be overlooking too is that I don't want to say like that you're like a newbie in comics, like he's just started in comics, because like you've been doing this stuff forever, but you know what I mean, like you're more known as a writer, as a filmmaker.
What I tend to do is I tend to get real comfortable in a space, and then I bail on it. Like right about the time people are like, "Oh, okay, he's legit," then I bail on it and go on to something new. So I'm perpetually the new guy trying to prove myself in a new subculture. And I have been doing these for a long time, but no, I haven't. I've yet to receive the type of accolades for, and maybe never will, for my Bizarro fiction writer, nominated and awarded some of the most prestigious Bizarro fiction awards you can get. As a cartoonist, I haven't. It's hard to do. It's hard to break into that kind of stuff, especially when you're doing underground comics. There is no real, like, the modern neo underground comic scene is guys posting black and white offensive, perverted pictures on Instagram and getting their accounts deleted over and over again. And they tend to publish in mini zines, mini black and white zines. And I have been published in several. Spread the Love zine. It's a neo underground comics magazine, and it's just. I'll go grab an issue. Hang on a second.
For sure. That's just me now. Well, I'm going to be working on finishing my drawing of my LeBron James stand-in. That's what I'm gonna do later. I don't know. So I don't know how this is working, and there's like a little bit of a delay. Maybe I don't know how this is working. It's all going. But yeah, no, Kevin Strange, he's all right. And like I had him on. If you're watching this on my channel, or if you're on Kevin Strange's thing, you can come and look at the interview I did with. Or wait a minute, maybe I took that down. No, I don't know.
Took my interview down.
I don't know. Let me look. Let me look real quick. I went, well, I did have I went through a crazy period. How do I manage videos? Did I? I don't know. Oh, that's what I should do, is I should put the link to that in the I'll just do that. I'll just pretend like that's what I've been doing the whole time. Okay. Call all your. Can you go like full screen on that so I can just see what
this is? All you need. He's not in this particular issue, but he has been. Glenn Head is a pretty big neo underground guy. All these dudes though are on Theo Lodge. He's that's David Lodge. I don't know if Theo Lodge is in this issue or not. Victor Cairo, he's a gnarly dude. But and the cover artist for this was Kyle Killeen. He's the dude that did. That did this. But these are all like Instagram dudes. And so these guys try to publish, and I know it's only been, established that.
Yeah, because
I mean, porn has always been allowed on X, though. Like, none of this stuff would get banned from there, but these people are like really left leaning, most of them, and they can't stand Elon Musk because he's not a communist, I guess. So they would rather sit and get zucked for publishing this stuff. Here's a nice ass comic. I'm not sure what is happening here. Can you see this? Can you see this snake guy in this ass?
sorry.
And then there's like stairs that lead up to the ass. And then is that a eyeball in the asshole that like melts him? Not sure what's happening.
They all do.
Don't they all? This is this Glenn Head? I think this might be.
Oh, that looks like.
Oh, this is Chet.
Um,
What's Chet's?
Why does it looks like Chet? That Dexter Cockburn has got.
There's a C, Hawn, or Haven. It's hard to tell with the font. That might be him. But yeah, this is a cool. This is a blowjob. Nice blowjob in the final shot there. It's pretty good. As a guy who's drawn a lot of blowjobs, I would give that a B plus.
Yeah, you can't. Right.
Llamas
for eyes. Okay. Or
it's still going.
It's still going. Right. Well, that was. I mean, it was kind of like mid. Below
Instagram dudes and get published in their zines like this. So I am a published cartoonist, which is cool. Somewhere here is my I think I'm after the oh, that's nice. Can you tell what's happening there, Dr.Ben? You are the PhD of comics. Can you decipher what's happening here?
Looks like she's trying to realign a hemorrhoid, perhaps.
Well, it's funny is it says her superpower is fisting her ass. I guess from fisting her own asshole, she's developed this total generous. But these guys, what's funny is these guys get.
What are you guys looking at?
This is Mondo Groovy. I like this guy's stuff a lot. I follow him on Instagram. It's funny they get zucked so often and cry about it, but they won't go. Oh, that's a cool one pager. A. Cohen.
Wow. Wish I'd done better, but I did my best. I like that. That's
pretty cool. Where am I? Oh, there's me. He gave me a one pager.
Excellent. Right.
It's called the Cum Garden, and it's actually a prequel to Space Worm. So I'm glad I went and got this out. Very rare. Most people don't even know this, that there is a prequel to Space Worms. But Ethan and Preston go out. They're jacking off together at the at this pond, and it turns out that when they come in the pond, oh no, this is a two pager. This is a two pager. um, this cum princess comes, like the lady of the lake, the lady of the cum pond, comes out and grants wishes. And she's like, she sees that it's Ethan again, and she's like, no, anybody but you. You come here all the time. You fucking came on me so many times. And she's like, please, don't, she's like pleading. He's like, all right, just do whatever you want. She's like, anything? He's like, yeah. So she blows her brains out. And you can see this dick flying into the, because it's a pom-pom. So instead of like lily pads, there's penis pads. And so then, yeah, that's the dick plops onto Preston's head. So that's my contribution to the cum garden.
Nice.
My contribution to the All You Need Is Love zine.
I like it.
But all right, let me get out of the full screen. These degenerates. Let's go back.
Look at what they're doing on there. That's why we don't want those guys in the mainstream. They'd be putting extra dicks on Spider-Man, and 2 is enough. Doesn't need any more than that.
So I've been really, it's been burning my fucking ass that I spent so long doing a 164-page comic and can't fucking solve them to save my life. It's a lot of work, extreme. I've been writing book after book after book, but then cutting them all down into 22-page issues. So if people aren't interested in dropping the whole 30 and buying a 164-page graphic novel, then I'm going to go back to the beginning. Because when I first put comics out through crowdfunding, I did Dead Shit as 3 30-page issues. I'm going to do them as 22-page issues now and do as many as it takes. In this book that I'm working on, the first book I finished all these scripts and I broke everything down into 22-page issues. So I'm hooked up for the next year plus, all written, all paneled out, all ready to go. All I have to do is draw them. And so I've been working on the first new book in the new era that's going to be split into issues. No longer graphic novels. Motherfuckers don't want to buy graphic novels from me. Maybe they'll pay $8 on crowdfunding and buy single issues from you. Maybe not. Maybe I can go fuck myself altogether. But we're going to try a new little direction here. And so this is some of the pencil pages from the first issue of the new book. The new book is called The Wizard of Ganj. And this is the first time I'm talking about this publicly. This is, if you've been following Strangeville for a long time, which is my universe of Strangeville, Illinois, is the town that all my stuff is set in. Right. You will know that since as far back as 20 years ago in the movies, people wondered how Nixon and Hogan, the two stoner, the stoner duo that's like my Jay and Silent Bob or Cheech and Chong or whatever, right, how they get the best weed in Strangeville called Colombian smoke weed. Well, the Wizard of Ganj is finally going to reveal where the Colombian smoke weed comes from. And so we open up here with Nixon huffing some nitrous. Are you familiar with huffing nitrous, Dr. Ben?
Not anymore.
You ever done whippets before?
Of course, yes.
So he's doing whippets here, and this girl's texting him. And in this text, it's going to say, I shared you pictures of my butthole. Share me pictures, send me pictures of yours. And that's the picture of her butthole that she just sent him. So he's like, damn, this bitch. All right, I will. And so he loads up a picture of his own asshole to send off to this girl. And he keeps hitting this nitrous, and he's all fucked up on the nitrous. And he's laying here all fucking tweaked. You know how nitrous is. Wow, 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 wow. Just gets you all
Right.
stupid fucked up. So he's all stupid fucked up on the nitrous, and she keeps dinging him and trying to talk to him, and he just keeps hitting the nitrous. And then he realizes he's looking at his phone all fucked up on nitrous, and he realizes, hey, my asshole is pretty nice. I got a nice asshole. And so he's starting to rub his crotch. He decides, yeah, I'm going to jack off to my own asshole. So he whips the dong out. And right at that moment, Hogan shows up. And of course, because this is a sort of the standard, Nixon does something weird. Hogan busts in and catches him doing it. So he's like, oh my God, are you jacking off to your own asshole? That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen you do. And he's like, I ain't ashamed of it. And he shows.
Yeah, I don't know if that would that technically be gay or not? I don't know.
These are questions I like to make. Is his own asshole? It's massive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
these are the questions I like to make my audience ask themselves. So here he is with. He's bitching that, because Hogan was supposed to come over with the Colombian smoke weed. And so Nixon's bitching, like, man, I've been having to huff this shit, making myself retarded enough to jack off to my own asshole. Where's my smoke weed? I just want to get high. And Hogan tells him, like, well, there's a problem, dog. See that magical weed tree? We always go pick a tree where it just appears out of thin air. That's where I get it from. He's like, I was walking through the woods, and there it was, that magical bag of Colombian smoke weed right at the magic weed tree. It's a tree that's got buds growing off it, and next to it, big bushes made of weed. It's like weed is just like growing up around this magic tree. He's like, these strange little hands came out and grabbed the bag, and I fought him. I grabbed the bag. You'd be proud of me, Nixon. I was tug of war back and forth, and I almost had the little dude, but he was a strong little fucker. And at this point, Nixon's like, "Are you hallucinating right now, Hogan? What are you fucking talking about?" And he's like, "No, listen, dog. He pulled me in. He pulled me into the tree, but I wasn't in no tree anymore. I was in a magical land." I was in Weed World, and this is magical Colombian smokeweed. And here we see the rolling hills and a big reveal there, and then the Weed Wizard 1 grabs the Colombian smokeweed, grabs a couple of nugs, tosses them out as he flies away. He's plopping on the ground, watching him.
Excuse me.
And Nixon's like, "Will you get to the fucking point? I'm almost out of fucking, whips here, and I don't want to be fucking sober. Where's my smoke weed?" He's like, "I'm trying to finish my story, dog." And that's where we've gotten to. And now I have the rough layouts, but I have to work on the pencils for the rest of the issue.
Nice.
So that's the story. That's the and it's going to be about I believe this is going to be a 4 or 6 issue series, because motherfuckers don't want to buy them as big fucking graphic novels from me anymore. So I'll do them 1 issue at a time, and I'll crowdfund every one of those bitches. It'll take a fucking, I'll be releasing them for a goddamn year. Let me bust out of here now. There we go. Back to here. So that's my current project. Phase, as you can, I don't know. Have you ever seen me work on pencils before, Dr. Ben?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's because it's. What was it the last time I was here where we were talking? It might have been then that I saw some of your you showed off some of your stuff, because like up until then, I thought you were always. I always thought you were just did all on like traditional. It's all done traditionally or whatever.
Well, the pencils are, and then the inking is all.
Was that a question? I don't even know if that.
Yeah, I do everything. I do the
statement.
I do the pencil process traditionally, and then I do the inking and the coloring and lettering digitally. But I do them really tight. Obviously, like this is exactly what the inks are going to look like. Like there's no, I make sure that there's nothing left to the imagination for the inks. Like ink this stuff that's like very loose. Here, let me blow it up again for you. Am I still roboting and fucking dropping out?
It comes and goes. It's weird. Like I'm not sure what. It's probably just the weather.
See how loose these
pencils
pencils
are?
are?
And goes. Right.
Some people would be more comfortable just inking on that. I like to ink on this, so there's just no. There's just I don't have to think. Like all the hard work for me goes into the. It's actually the hardest thing for me is the layouts. Like doing these layouts and getting everything looking, balanced, and the depth, making sure there's good depth, making sure there's good balance, making sure there's good compositions. That's what's hard for me. Once I get the composition down like that panel right there, those are ganja gremlins, Dr.Ben. Those little nugs that the weed wizard threw out, they grow arms and legs and angry mouths, and they start trying to eat Hogan. Ganja gremlins. But once I get that composition down, then the pencils are easier, and then the inks are just nothing. Like the inks are, I can literally sit and watch TV or watch movies and ink and not even think about it, because all I'm doing, it's really just tracing. All that effort goes into the pencils. That's my process. Everybody does it. Everybody makes their comics.
Well, have you tried just taking your pencils and then just like color values on them?
I have, and I didn't like the results were inconsistent. Not all the they wouldn't, the value wouldn't. By the time I busted it all out to where the stark black line. There wasn't. There was too much. I had so little self-confidence in my abilities as a cartoonist that I needed to know that if I could do it in the pencil process, then I could definitely do it in the ink process, and scan those and ink over them and have pretty much the same result.
Wait, you could do what?
I could scan the layout.
You could do what?
I could scan the layout and ink over that and skip a whole process, because I have everything drawn here.
Right, but you get it. Well, you get your pencils tighter rather than staying at that loose stage, because that's. like
So this is the entire comic, or the first, the first 22 pages or whatever. But this is that page I just showed you. I'll go back to the big page and show you,
okay. So those are like your thumbnails, basically.
So yeah, so I thumbnail the
Okay.
entire comic out, and then I blow it up and pencil it completely finished like that. Might as well be the inks. Then I ink over that. So I go one, and then the leg. Layout is 2, the pencil is 3, ink is 4. 4 layers before I've got my inks down. And really, these days, I could probably scan this crutch of doing these real tight pencils so that I know that it works. Like when I look at that bottom panel, Hogan in the foreground, the wizard flying, dropping the buds, and these rolling hills in the background, I know that that composition works. Now, does that look any different? It's the same thing. I could go straight to ink from there, I think. And you said you go for
I feel like I'm like stuck in a weird like time tunnel because like I keep I'll look at there's like a delay when it onto the big screen. So I'll be like watching that, and then you're talking, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh, what's going on? Oh shit.
So you were saying you go from loose pencils to inks. Is that what you were saying? Your process?
Let me see if I can grab my hold on. Okay, I think this is well, let me make sure real quick here too. What's this?
Now you're robotic.
Might be too much
What's
for
up
it.
with this connection?
Yeah, I think that's me because I tried to look up I tried to look it up on the iPad too. Let me see if I've got like some thumbnails I could show you, and then I can just show you like the page. This might not be my well, this will kind of show you. Flip my camera around here too. Oh, not that. Settings. That. You gotta go to the back camera. Okay. Oh, you're gonna have to bear with me just a second while I try and screw this thing around to the right direction. Okay. So that's basically like what my thumbnails would be. You know what I mean? Like just the simplest of like shapes, you know. And then the other thing is I don't really work. It's not like I have anything like completed. You know what I mean? Like probably the best thing here would be just to do a handheld version here. So that's what I'm saying. Like that, the end goal for this is to basically be, you know, my big knight guy with his cross armor and everything. He's got wings, so I'm gonna do like a, you know, like a riff on like that Zeppelin angel or whatever that thing. Do that there, but yeah, like this is the two of them are way off in the sky fighting, and this is the cat lady down here. That's what I'm saying. That's usually about as detailed as I'll go on my pencils. That's what I'm saying. Like my pencils are just they're just.
It looks a little more refined than my roughs, but not obviously not nearly as tight as my pencils. It looks like you go about halfway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's because it's the same thing like you're talking about how like it's like you're doing like the same thing over and over, and with for me like inking is like my favorite part. So oh yeah, that's what I could show. So I was gonna show it. Anyways, is this is Jabroni Lames. I guess it's hard to get like a whole view of the picture of that, but I gotta draw the horse part of him. I left the hard part for last.
That's amazing.
It's just gonna be, like LeBron James, but like if he was a
My Little Pony
centaur. Yeah, basically like a My Little Pony centaur kind of person. Like he's I have a certain personal vendetta against LeBron. Yeah, after he came back, he was here, he busted out here, and that's where he got his fame. And then he did that whole goofy thing with fucking choosing the hats. Well, where are you gonna go? And they had all those hats. He's like, I'm gonna have to pick the hat of the team I'm gonna go to, and like I was like, all right, well, he wants to do his own thing, and he went down to Miami or whatever. But then he came back up to Cleveland, and when he came back, he was like, well, he's like, Cleveland is where I am gonna retire. This is where I'm gonna finish my career, is in Cleveland, and I mean, I want to give Cleveland a championship. Right. Like that was his. I came back to give you all a championship. That doesn't even. I don't know LeBron James's voice, but I don't know if you're like I'm not really like a basketball fan. I'm more just.
No, I don't like sports. I don't like ball sports. I follow mixed martial arts. That's the only.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I've got. Well, he didn't the first year back. He didn't win the championship. They got to the championships, the finals versus Golden State, and they lost. I can't remember. It wasn't. It was like it was. I don't want to say like contentious, but like it was like good games for the first year, and then the second year, it seems like they went all the way to Game 7. I think. Because like how like they with I'm not gonna look up sports stats. What am I thinking? I'm not gonna get crazy here. Never looked up sports stats. I'm not gonna start now. But the second year back, that's when they won, and they beat Golden State, and they won the finals, and everybody was just so happy, and thank you, LeBron, thank you for coming back. Now we got a championship. I think it was maybe like Cleveland had never had a major sports championship since like the 1800s or whatever. But it wasn't the second year finals, and it was against the same team. It was against Golden State. Like Golden State was just insane, but it was like a tough. It's a tough battle. You know what I mean? Like, it's. Yeah. I think it's like best 4 out of what It's the same way with like a baseball game. Like you have like the best 3 out of 5 or something. Best 3 out of 5 games is the winner, unless I don't know what would make it. But it's the same thing with like basketball. So if you win the first 3 games or 4 games or whatever it is, then it's over. They don't keep playing so that the other team has a chance to lose and not be able to ever make it, because it's, I guess it must be best 4 out of 7. I don't know.
I think that's what it is. Because they do Game 7. There's a lot of like when you're watching sports documentaries or whatever they talk about, or with when it comes to basketball, they're always like, and it went to Game 7, so it must be good. That's 5 out of 6.
Exactly. And then they took it all the way. They went all the way to Game 7. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That was the second year back, and they had to go all the way to Game 7. And then the third year, it was, for the finals, it was, Cavs and Golden State again. And Golden State just demolished them. I mean, it was it was just bad. Like they were just there wasn't no going to Game 7 or nothing like that. It was just
over quick.
Yes. It was whatever, 3. It must have been 4 games. I think 4 games or 5 games. I think Cleveland might have won 1. I don't even think they did though. It seems like it was just over. Because I remember it being over and just being like, "Shit, that's it. Damn, we got smoked." The Cleveland or the Golden State guys, you're familiar with basketball. There's the two, you throw the ball into the basket, and it's 2 points. But if you're past that certain line or whatever, it'll be 3 points instead, right? Because it's the 3-point line, a field goal or whatever.
You got to remember, Dr. Ben, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so there was a point in history where the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan were the most popular thing in the world. So when I was in junior high, yeah, you couldn't fucking spit and not see.
You were in Illinois then too.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with basketball. I just don't like it.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
I know how to play the game. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Golden State, every guy on the team was could just drop 3-pointers just all day, just anytime, right. Just do, and sink them too. Every guy on their team. They get to pass a halfway point in the court and they'd be like, bloop. What the fuck? And Cleveland is just getting slaughtered. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The third finals that they played, it was just, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but it was just definitely damn, those guys play a lot better than us. And that's the other 2 times we faced them, they were playing like this as well. And it's kind of it almost felt like the second year was kind of like Golden State just being like, okay, well, yeah, we won't really push it. You could win 1, but then when they came back for that third year, it was okay, let's make sure we understand who's who here. You're not playing. You don't shoot 3-pointers. Your guys suck.
And you're putting that blame on LeBron?
Yes, it is all his fault, is what I'm saying. So
he's a brony jabroni, is what you're trying to say?
What? Because then he left. They lost that third year.
Oh, he left after that?
And then he went to the fucking Lakers. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what? And then he just went to the Lakers? What the fuck? I thought you were going to retire here in Cleveland because this is your fucking, right. He's from Akron or whatever, And it was no. It's off to, and I'm like, what is even the point? You're not, because now that's what I'm saying is LeBron's getting, he's not old, but you know what I'm saying? Now he's getting up there.
Right.
And then he was, let's see, he was 2016, he was all, I think he did some kind of thing for Hillary back then too. He was getting in on all the whole, celebrities getting into politics and being like, you like me in my movies, so you should also like my political opinion. It's this.
Right. My completely out of touch political opinion.
Right.
I haven't bought my own milk in 15 years, but let me tell you about why Democrat policies.
You don't agree with us.
You know what I want to hear about, Dr. Ben?
Sir?
I want you to tell me about this comics you're drawing.
About the what?
The Comicsgate drama. I don't follow it, so I don't know what's going on. Fill
Oh,
me
okay.
in.
So, okay. Well, so you, a lot of the stuff lately has been, you know who Eric July is as well.
Yeah, we talked about Eric, and we talked about
My memory
Skyler
is
last
not
time.
it's not
Last
good.
time we did. What'd you say?
Well, my memory is not good. As
Oh yeah, we talked about them both. I said I don't
Okay.
understand the Eric July hate because he puts his comic books out. People get really upset by that fact. And then we talked about Ethan not finishing his books. He's got what is that? Rainbow the Brute. That's like 3 years late.
That's what I've heard. And I'll be honest. It looks like a funny book, but it doesn't look like what I would expect to see from Ethan. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like his style at all. Like, Cyber Frog is like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and like all the stuff he did. Green Lantern obviously is just fucking Green Lantern, and X-Men. You know what I mean? Like, all his stuff is all kind of like traditional, superhero-y kind of stuff, apocalyptic stuff, and then he's doing a book about like a little like toy-sized fairy guy. It's like, what? Okay, well. But so the latest thing is that now there is a rift between Eric July and apparently the rest of Comicsgate. But, Eric is not Comicsgate. He's always been like, I'm not Comicsgate, I'm Rippaverse.
Right.
And he took exception to some of the criticisms that were leveled at his at ISOM, right? Or at the first issue, and then I think people are saying they don't like the second one, or they do, or whatever.
Right.
And so they've been going back and forth, and there was apparently a thing where he told Ethan, he's like, look, you can't also be saying, my book isn't good or this or that. You can't be saying that kind of stuff, or else, I'll come back at you. I'll reciprocate. And Ethan like shared that for some reason. That was like a private mess, or it was a text message. He sent him a text message of that. Like, don't be talking bad about ISOM, or else I'm going to reciprocate talking to shit or whatever.
Right.
And then it all, I think it was last week or the week before, there was another fella, Yellow Flash. Apparently Yellow Flash has got a really big YouTube channel where he has like 100,000, 200,000 like one of those huge channels.
Yeah, he's a YouTube grifter.
And
every video is comics is over! Exclamation point.
They're all bad. But I'm gonna. So he also all of a sudden, what did he do? Oh, he put out he had asked Ethan to do a cover, because that Yellow Flash guy is also doing his own comic, of course. He asked Ethan to do a cover, and he thought he asked for too much money, and so he like got mad at him.
How much did he
want? Wanted like $4 or $5 grand for the cover, I think.
4 or 5 grand. I mean, he commands those kind of prices.
Well, that is the thing. He's like,
if you were going to say 10,000, I would have told you Ethan's crazy. But 4,000 for a cover, that's not out of the question.
It's gonna get, an additional.
He's going to make more than $4,000. He's going to make more than $4,000 on his crowdfunder for having an Ethan Van Sciver cover.
Exactly. And then he made that public. That was the thing, is that then like this Yellow Flash was and there was on Twitter, they have communities on Twitter, where it's like a group where you could post all the stuff. Yellow Flash was the admin or the owner or whatever, whoever. He was the one who was in charge of the Comicsgate community on Twitter, and he closed it, just erased it.
He killed the Comicsgate community. How many people were in it? Tens of thousands?
Like a couple. I don't think it was like tens of thousands, but a couple thousand. And they're all, and they're all angry with Ethan. And so then that's the latest thing, is that they were I think Ethan went over, he did a review of ISOM and like broke down what was good and what was bad, what didn't work, and a lot of people have been pointing out that in ISOM it very much looks like there was a lot of 3D assets used.
Sure.
And not, I don't think there's a problem using 3D assets, as long as, you're using it and then you're going over it, inking over it, and you put your own little bits of, if it's a house, you change the text, you put your own little touches on it and stuff. And right. That was not the case with the 3D assets they were using in the ISOM. They had a
direct.
Yeah, it looked like, and they were, people were sharing pictures, and it did look pretty, not the whole book, but there was a couple pages or panels or whatever, one with a truck that just it was just, you could tell it was just straight up out of SketchUp or some sort of and it was just, it didn't have any kind of flair on it. Just it looked like something out of a catalog. Here's right. You can get this truck. Here's a picture of it. It looked just like, I'm like, oh, okay. And there was a house. People have been rightfully making fun of that, because Eric has talked a lot about how great his comics would be and this and that, and he's going to do everything better. And then if you end up instead, that's what I'm saying. It does seem like kind of something you could have prevented if you had put in more editorial work or something or other. And then they were somehow they were both supposed to go on to Alex Stein's show tonight, but it was someone else, Alex Stein, whoever was running Alex Stein's show, had not told both of them, Ethan and Eric, hey, why don't you both come on here and debate? But they contacted them separately, hey, why don't you come on the show? And they're like, okay. Why don't you come on the show? He's like, oh, okay, but didn't tell them hey, you're going to be both on at the same time. And then they were posting today, tonight we're going to have the Comicsgate battle, Eric versus Ethan. And
that was news to them.
Right. Well, Ethan knew he was going on, but he's he wait. This whole thing, he's I woke up at, I rested beforehand. I got up at 6 and I see all these people saying that we're going to be debating and battling. And I'm like, what? And Eric declined to debate.
He backed out.
Yes.
What was his reason? That he didn't get told in advance?
Then he said that it was because management told him that he couldn't, or that he shouldn't.
He is the man.
Eric July is also somehow associated with the Blaze, the Blaze channel or whatever that Alex Stein is on. It was what Glenn Beck's channel was, the Blaze. Yeah. And Glenn Beck is gone by now. He's years away from it. But so management from the Blaze told him, no, we can't have you on here fighting each other, which I don't know. Seems so that's what I'm saying. It's always but that's what I'm saying. It does seem very on Eric's part to not debate, because if you've ever watched much like Eric's channel, he's always debating. He would debate detractors from his chat, or on Twitter, like if someone says something again, you know, like, oh, your book sucks or you suck or whatever, he'll always like engage with them, you know, like
Right.
it's especially if it's like, you know, people with like 20 followers or people that are, you know, just joined or what, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, real little dudes. He loves to.
yeah, so not a real good look. The whole, you know, the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was watching. Ethan was on there talking about all this and going over all of it, and you know, it's like watching a soap opera. You know,
Well, I saw one dude say something like, I follow a couple of peripheral accounts that are associated with Comicsgate, and all I
okay.
really see him post is, "Why are we always fighting, guys? Let's not fight. Oh, this is a family." And that's been going on. I've been following Comicsgate since 2017, 2018. Whenever the controversy with your boy Zach,
Right.
when he was kicked, when he had was it
The Antarctic
Press?
Yep. Antarctic Press.
That was my introduction to Comicsgate. So it's been a long time, and these guys will come along every couple of years, put on the fucking T-shirt, and act like they've been fucking Comicsgate. Are you there?
Yeah. I gotta stoke the stove over here. So
Act like they've been down all along, and then act shocked the first time they run into some of this fucking Comicsgate drama. The whole thing started with drama, has always been drama, and always will be drama. And these nerds crack me up, and they act like, this isn't Comicsgate, we're a family. Like, what do you think this is, dude? It's a whole grifter fucking. It's a whole grift in the first fucking place. Like, the whole idea is to get drama drummed up on these live streams and convince people that back my book, not that guy's book, or back my book, not the don't buy mainstream comics, and then we're gonna own the enemy. And that's just how it's always been. That's how Ethan has built Comicsgate. That's the entire mechanism of Comicsgate is internet drama, what do you call it? Blood sports arguments. You know that Cecil book, Cash Grab, along with the main book that has never come out. You were also supposed to get this ash can called Tapeworm Doug or something like that, and that was because
Dirtworm Doug,
Dirtworm Doug, because they had a falling out with Doug Knaple around that time, and the big drama at that time, the Eric July of that moment was Doug Knaple, and they kicked him out of Comicsgate and all this drama surrounding him. And so it cracks me up when these new dudes that have only been around a year or two, they don't understand that this happens there's always an Eric July or a Doug Knaple or a you remember when it was Tim Lim and Brett, what was Tim's partner's name?
I don't know. That was before my time.
Yeah, well, they had their own. They did because Brett and Tim did Trump's Space Force, and Ethan at the time was saying, "Oh, that's too on the nose. You can't do politics. Like, the whole point of Comicsgate is that we're taking the politics out of comics, and basically kicked them out of Comicsgate." And the Tim Lim side people said the same thing that Eric July is saying right now, which is where Eric got it from. And Eric's kind of his whole stance on this thing. I guess I know more about this than I thought I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I follow some of it, but also like you know, like I said, I don't have a good memory, or at least, you know what I mean? Like, and like I get to the point with different, if I don't know who let's say a creator is, like the Tim Lim fella, I've never seen anything from that. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea who he is at all. So it's hard for me to be like, yes, no, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing with the drama is it's just the drama. Like, it doesn't matter who's right. There's no right or wrong. It just is what it is. It drums up interest and it gets you backers.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Tim and Brett were really successful with their Trump Space Force, in part because it was a Trump thing around 2016, 2017, but also because of the Comicsgate drama that they drummed up. And Doug TenNapel made a fuck ton of money on his crowdfunders. He raised over $1 million for his first Earthworm Jim book that he put out, and almost all of that stuff is thanks to the drama that they drum up around each other. So I guess I think of it like pro wrestling. Like if you really think that there's an Eric versus Ethan thing going on here, I got news for you. They're just making money. They really, true. At the end of the day, they're just making money. Like, this is good for both of them. It really is. It's good for both their brands to have this feud. Right. Just like it was for everyone that came before it. Before them. So I don't begrudge Ethan or Eric in this instance. I did one of those little ancillary guys. Are you putting wood in the stove right now?
Yeah.
One of those little ancillary guys. I saw him pretty concisely say the current Comicsgate drama boils down to the guys that like books on time versus the guys that like books to be good. So whereas Ethan's making the argument that too many 3D assets were used and the art's cheesy and it's generic. The opposite side people go, okay, where's your Rainbow Brute book? Like you're late on everything. Like why you're criticizing the quality of his book, but you don't accept criticisms of the lateness of your books. And so Comicsgate has devolved into this group of guys that says, well, I don't care if comics are late. I want them to be good no matter how long they take. Versus guys that go, I just want my books. I don't care that he used 3D assets. I'm reading it for the story. Like it doesn't have to be perfect art. And so you've got this kind of civil war going here between lateness and goodness, quality versus timeliness. Which is, and again, I think at the end of the day, everybody wins. Like I know there's a good guy and a bad guy in that argument. I think that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like I don't, like I didn't. I'll be honest, I like call it. And he's like, it's not a crowdfunder, it's a pre-order or something or other. He's
right.
But I liked just just his energy. Like I looked at the comic and I was like, this does not look like.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I don't like superhero stuff, so it's not something that and it is generic looking.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. It is generic looking art, but beyond the generic looking part of it, like I don't like superhero stuff either. Like indie superhero stuff. No, I don't even like mainstream superhero stuff. You'll never catch me buying a Captain America, comic book.
What's wrong with Captain America?
Nothing. What? I just don't like it.
No.
Personal. I don't like superhero stuff. So it's hard enough to get me to try to get me interested in some mainstream superhero thing when these guys keep making up these 90s nostalgia indie superhero guys. I'm like, no thanks. I bought the amount of books I backed that were hero oriented, maybe I don't know, 2, 3, versus when indie guys do like horror comics or underground comics,
right,
or outlaw comics. Those are the ones I back. I've backed a ton of outlaw indie comics and stuff like that. I just don't do the superhero stuff. So the quote unquote Rippaverse, whatever, and he's got the Soska sisters working for him now on a book. The next Rippaverse book is theirs,
right,
that they wrote.
Are they?
I like them a lot. They're the ones that wrote and directed Dead Hooker in a Trunk and American Mary, and they did that Kane movie, Kane from WWE, See No Evil.
Oh, okay.
I think they did the sequel.
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was probably 10 years ago now. They did part 2. And then I think they did a Cronenberg remake. Was it Shivers that they remade?
Well, that's not bad.
I'm not sure. They remade a Cronenberg movie, but I haven't seen it yet. But they're horror girls, and for whatever reason, they're writing in the Rippaverse superhero universe. So I might back that just because I like them.
Right. Well, what do you think about like what do you think about like Swamp Thing or like Hellblazer, like Constantine? Like, is that?
I like that stuff. I collect Hellboy comics. I mean, I guess you can call him a superhero, but it's more, Hellboy's more like folk horror.
Right,
and,
right. Yeah, he's
and stuff like Hellblazer and
okay.
And Swamp Thing and the like. That stuff's cool. I like that stuff. Like anything dark with monsters.
Okay,
Like
that's why I wonder if that's what they're going to try and do with the Saska sisters thing. Because
I don't think so. I think it's just a fucking superhero girl.
I mean, because you can take like a superhero kind of character and do, like dark stories or whatever. But if you're not real good with writing, or if you're just too focused on like it being a superhero, it'll suck. But I mean, that was like the whole Vertigo line, right? I mean, they had other stuff, but like they had like Phantom Stranger, like that was in the Vertigo line, and obviously Constantine or Hellblazer or Swamp Thing, Shade the Changing Man, like there's like the original version of Shade the Changing Man is like, I think looks stupid and like uninteresting, but like the Vertigo one, I was always like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I could never figure out what was going on in the comic, but I always liked the look of it. And like I've read issues, and it's like I said, I never know what's going on, but at least it looks nice. It seems, it seems like something's going on. Like you read it and it's like, okay, there's people talking and they seem, it all seems like good writing or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I could see if they're like horror directors and whatnot, these Saska sisters, I could see if they're doing something, kind of like on that level, like the Rippaverse's version of Vertigo is, from those girls or whatever. I don't even know if that's what it is. I don't know.
I don't think it is, but it would be cool. I mean, maybe they'll listen to this stream and realize that they've got that on their hands there. They should. That's what they should be writing. But I don't think they are. I think it's just part of the Rippaverse. I think it's just like some chick that hangs out with Ice on.
Huh. But that's what I'm saying though. It kind of like how you're with superheroes. I like some stuff, but it doesn't really excite me. Like I see all the people, this is a classic superhero. Okay. And that's what I mean with ISOM and Rippaverse stuff. I was like, this isn't really my thing. It looked okay, kind of generic looking, but sometimes generic stuff can be fun too, But I don't know, like with just all fighting back and forth. I guess it does. Oh well, if you haven't followed it, do you know anything about the Clippaverse? There's this other guy. I think his name is Riley, right? And he apparently he would send super chats to Eric July, and with whatever his complaints or criticisms were of the ISOM comic, and Eric would never read them. And this angered this Riley fella, so he started doing all this satirical stuff where he created. Well, he said he was going to find Eric and he was going to bring a pair of clippers and clip all of the hair off his shoulders.
Oh God!
Because he does
he's got very hairy shoulders.
I don't know why. It seems like an odd thing. Like I don't know why you would specifically wear tank tops to like show off your hairy shoulders. Like,
show off how much fucking hair you have on your shoulders. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, like I understand if you're just.
I mean, again, if we're gonna criticize one, Eric Van Sciver wears the gayest costumes imaginable. So I mean, he doesn't have to do that either.
Right. I think, which I mean, he does like some of them are funny. Some of them are like, you know, Ethan does strike me as like the sole thing of like when people are like comics gay doesn't like gays. And it's like, have you watched Ethan's streams? Have you listened to Cecil? Like, I think they're okay with gay people. They're not. You know, it's not like that. They're not. But so anyways, the Clipaverse, this kid, he starts making all this stuff. He makes shirts and YouTube shows, and he's talking videos all about it. He shows up to the warehouse.
No.
No one's there, and he goes like they video him. He goes up to the window and he tapes like $40 in ones onto the window, and he's like, "Ignore these super chats, Eric July."
What the fuck?
It's so goofy that it's just like it's like a car crash, you know. It's like you just can't even like look away. Like I don't even like I don't even know what's going on, but it is entertaining, you know. And he is like I watched a bit of like one of these Clipaverse show. His videos, they're, you know, it looks like him and his girlfriend, or at least some girl that he convinced to do videos with them, and they make jokes, and they make a lot of jokes about Eric July and this and that, you know. And it's bizarre that it inspires all of this, because I mean that's the thing too, is there is so many other people that also hate Eric July, that's like their whole thing is just doing videos complaining about you know, Comicsgate or Eric July or all of them. And
well, it's to the point that I saw a few weeks ago there was a conspiracy going around that there are actually that the comics pros, someone in the professional comic book world actually pays, like a crisis firm actually pays some of these haters of Comicsgate to sit on Twitter all day long and come up with different ways to complain about them.
I could believe that. They just had that about it was like HBO or something, wasn't it?
Was it?
It was one of these like TV channels or something where like it came out, they were like, you know, they were having their employees do this, you know, go online,
making burner accounts.
Right. I mean,
it was during the whole cancel pig thing with
Mark Millar. And
that they started talking about these people being actually paid by crisis firms to get in there and intimidate and harass people in the comics Twitter sphere and YouTube sphere, intimidate them into not you know, complaining about mainstream comics, which is hard to believe, but at the same time, you know,
kind of backwards. Like, how could you? Well, I guess maybe you'd be. Well, that's probably the thing with like, because Twitter definitely is like has changed, where it's, you know, before you couldn't say like anything on there, or else you'd get strikes or whatever. You know, the same thing with like Facebook and all that. I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, I could definitely believe that whether or not they're like literally paying someone, you know, to go and I don't know, defend mainstream comics. I don't know. You know, there's so, that's what I'm saying, is there's so many people that just do that already. I mean, are they getting paid too? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because, you know, at this point, you know, like what?
I kind of got swept up in it there for a minute when it was going on, when the cancel pig thing started trending, and so I would hit the hashtag, and then I would see the people going absolutely fucking autistic, defending mainstream comics and and just melting down over the fact that someone was calling them cancel pigs. And so I started just to see what would happen. I started accusing them of being paid shills, and the amount of like overreaction was very telling to me. That they were just like, oh, this guy thinks we're paid. Can you believe that? Someone could possibly believe that I was getting paid to do this? And I was like, well, you're either getting paid or you're an absolute fucking like autistic weirdo. Like, are you really bragging that you do this for free from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed every day? And then of course it starts the deflection. Your art sucks. Like, we're not talking about my art. We're talking about you spending 18 hours a day defending mainstream, billion-dollar mainstream comics brands. What's up? What's up with that? Are you getting paid for it or not? And it was just the reactions were really. Let me just say, I was not convinced that they are not being paid. It was very apparent that there's something fucky going on, man. They were protesting way too much, way too loudly, overreacting way too much when someone said they were being paid. Like trying to deflect away from it as fast as they could. Like I believe it. I think that that there's some money in it. Maybe not a lot, but enough to entice people to sit around on the internet all day and complain about comic haters.
Enough. That's all it takes. Yeah, no, well, I mean, it could be money. It could be, there's a million different ways they could.
Yeah, like
favors.
Like access media.
Exactly. Like we'll put you on the comp list. We'll send you digital copies of Spider-Man if you just.
Or they come out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You just defend our decision to make Peter Parker suck Doc Ock's dick in this issue.
It's just like, I knew this would happen. I always knew that Peter had something in his eye for Otto Octavius. No, I've been telling my friends this forever. Peter's gonna give him a Blumpkin. I know it.
Peter's gonna give him
the surprise Blumpkin.
All right, here's my Ganja Gremlins, Dr.Ben.
Okay. We're going to make it full screen there, so that way I can see it better. Okay.
Hang on. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's.
1 second. Here we go. There's the panel where their arms pop out of the little weed nugs. And then there's the. I kind of wanted to go for a like a critters look.
Yeah.
The Chiodo brothers, they have those really long mouths, those big smiles, big eyes.
Little pig ears on the top. I'm digging it.
Well, those are it'll look like when they're in color, it'll make more sense. Those are weed leaves.
Oh, okay.
Weed leaves sticking out. Like these are nugs. They're going to be green, and then those will be like purple.
I see.
The little weed leaves popping out of them. They look like little kind buds, little nugs that are also vicious and terrifying.
Okay. Yeah.
So that page is done. There's the weed wizard flying, smoking a big blunt. Hogan in the background down there, like, what the fuck? And Hogan chasing after him. There's the 3 little weed nugs on the ground. And that's when they pop out. The hands pop out.
Okay.
Ganja Gremlins. Yeah.
I dig it.
How are you coming along there on Jabroni? Brony.
I guess I can't pull up that close because then I get. Yeah, he's coming along. He got his hair done.
Yeah, that's a lot of work on his hair. What are you using there? A crow quill?
Yeah, this one's getting
I
kind
can't
of.
use that, man. I have a whole bunch of crow quills, but I can't get them to.
Oh yeah,
It takes a lot of practice to.
it is a pain.
That's because like I know like I actually like I must have just
Figured out how to use them just this year. No, when back in 2020, that must have been when I figured it out, because I had them before then, and like I did an interview with I can't remember who it was, and like I was talking about it in there. I was like, wait, you use the pen nib stuff? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I cannot figure out I can't get ink to come out of them. I put them on. I
Yeah,
got
I
the
was
thing.
doing a lot of scratching and not a lot of inking when I tried them.
I have no idea really how you do it is the thing. Like it always seems like it's a struggle. And I feel like that is the key for me doing like any of this stuff, is to just struggle and have to fight to get every bit of ink on there.
Here's the real important question, though. Why doesn't he have a gigantic horse dog?
Well, that's a good point.
That's prime real estate right there. Totally open area between his legs. Just white, begging for a big black horse cow. You make it uncircumcised? Like
I
the
would
head
imagine.
is really peeking out of the uncircumcised.
Yeah, he should have some kind of. Well, I mean, this is one thing too, is because I want it to be like a satire of, because if you switch the J and the L,
yeah,
it's Lebroni James. So if I don't want to give him like a big wiener.
You have a tiny little horse stick?
Yeah, just have like a little,
a sad little horse wiener.
Exactly.
Like he's not supposed to be admired here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not the hero of the story at all. You make a joke about like he was doing steroids, and so now it's just like looks like a little acorn or something. Like I'm not really sure how this is going to work with doing the horse body anyways. Maybe I should bring up a picture of a horse.
No, it looks good. I think that those are good proportions.
What did I just do? Okay, there. Chores. Horse.
Have you been reading along with Ed Piskor's new Switchblade Shorties daily strip?
Well, I wouldn't say reading along. I just checked it out, and it was up to the 3rd or 4th strip or something. And
what are your initial thoughts?
I did not like it.
What don't you like about it? I agree. I don't like it. What do you not like about it?
Like, it's just the phonetic language.
That's exactly my complaint. I could not get through it because he's got all those kids with such fucked up phonetic dialogue that I can't read it. I can't sit and read an entire comic strip when you sound out their fucking speech impediments like that. That's the worst way to do dialogue. Like that's actually writing 101 is you don't force your reader to fucking try to decipher. You can have one character do that in a way, but you have to do it in a way like Lovecraft was bad at that. When you read an H.P. Lovecraft story, often he'll have those backwoods. Are you a Lovecraft fan? Do you know the stories?
Sir, please.
I don't know. Some people are, some people
how I
aren't.
started on all this stuff.
Good.
Yeah, no,
So like in Shadow over Innsmouth, you know, a lot of the dialogue is from the villagers.
Bomb, I remember. Yeah.
And what is the other one? There's Shadow over Innsmouth, and then there's which is the one with now here I am not being able to come up with the
No, you're fine because that's what I'm saying. I would just be like, that other, yeah, I get.
Wilbur Whately. The story he's in is that's you know, where he gets the Necronomicon from the school, his mother, and he's got an invisible brother that the wizards have to fucking fight at the end with magic spells. All the like hick townsfolk in that story talk in that phonetic language, and it's so hard to follow along with it. I would just skip over a lot of it in his writing. Dunwich Horror, god damn it. Wilbur Whately stories, Dunwich Horror. So a lot of the Dunwich townsfolk talk like that, where they've got the real thick accents, and he would try to write that out phonetically. And then also the villagers from Shadow over Innsmouth would talk like that too, like the bus driver.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Actually, let me know what I'm talking about here, because I know
the art's good. I mean, he's a great cartoonist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's something about it that just doesn't work for me. I'm not gonna say that it's bad.
Keep talking. I'm going pee.
Yeah. But just the for one, obviously, like we just said, the weird phonetics language stuff. Like a little bit is okay, but like everything they say. Here, let me pull this one up. This is from a week ago. There's the three of them, the three little kids. They're all in a car and they're playing with the CB. 10 hut. I have fourth ter Lampert here with uth UTH and she wants to give away free kisses. Stop it, soda pop. I don't know. It's just. Oh, wait a second. Is that there? Okay, yeah, and then here's go play with your pound puppies and keep these lines clear for grown folks who need them. I'm telling the police on you. It seems for one that he missed like a word there. Go play with your pound puppies and keep these lines clear for grown folks who need them. I'm telling the police on you. I would think it would be like, or I'm telling the police, but I don't know.
Yeah, it turned me off real quick having trying to decipher that shit.
And the one with the pigtails that just stick up like butt plugs, like that one, I don't know. Like this what I'm saying. Like some of his characters, I like the design, and then other ones I'm like,
What about butt plugs?
There's one of them that has got pigtails.
Yeah.
And they just look like little like butt plugs on her head.
Oh.
Like, it just looks like she has two of them just sticking up off the top of her head.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like I liked Red Room, but like it got kind of. I don't know how it can be boring to like have like extreme violence and like like crazy internet murder rooms and all that stuff. I don't know how you can make that like not. I don't know. There's just something about it that's just like the last, I didn't get the third Red Room series just because like I got through the second one and I was just like, just it was just I just felt bored with it, you know. Like I liked all the designs. I loved what was it? One the lady Mistress Pentagram. That was the one. I loved her design. And you know,
those,
and I had
those Red Room characters look wicked.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I love the designs, but it's just like I don't know. It's kind of the same thing like with a lot of the like extreme horror stuff. I just get kind of like what is the point? Like why? What is this for? Like, and you know, like
a rule of thumb for me as a writer is it's important that whatever the story is that is the setup to when everything goes wrong and gets ultra violent and crazy, like this is a group of friends that's going out to the woods and there's a killer in the woods that kills them one by one. What makes or breaks that story is what's happening with that group of people as they go into the woods. Like if you were going to tell that story and there was no killer and they didn't die, what makes that story compelling? Because the best extreme horror happens in the characters' lives beyond the horrific stuff. The horrific stuff is just what it is.
right.
That stuff is basically always going to be the same. And you can be creative with the kills, of course you can, but the characters matter and what they're doing matters. And I've always found like, are you familiar with what is that Roger Corman movie where the Humanoids from the Deep? You ever seen that movie?
I have not.
So Roger Corman's Humanoids from the Deep is about these sea monsters that come up out of the water, and they kind of look like the creature from the Black Lagoon, but more like werewolfy. They got big claws and huge mouths, and they come out to rape the big bosomed women. So that pretty much sells you on it, right?
Yeah.
Sea monsters come up out of the water and rape hot chicks. Like there you go. So that's the hook that gets you to the movie. What the movie is about is this this Native American tribe has been pushed out of their fishing territory by this asshole fucking corporate, corporate fisherman. Corporate fishery is like pushing out the natives from this land, and they're trying to fight to keep their livelihoods. And that is the backdrop to when everything starts going crazy and these things start coming out of the water to rape the women, all these dudes that are fighting over property and fighting over business and fighting over their family tradition, they have to learn to work together to try to fight off this monster invasion. And it makes the movie so awesome to see how these dudes can put aside their differences and get along to kick these monsters' asses. And it makes because the creature designs are great, but the movie has so much more depth to it beyond being a fishman rape fantasy, right? And so that to me that's what's important about storytelling. So Ed can come up with all the creative kills and cool looking costumes that he wants to for Red Room, but if he doesn't have a story buoying that stuff up, it's going to get boring. If it's just repetitive killing over and over again and there's no story outside of that, then it's not going to be it's just not going to it's not going to hold your attention. You got to have an A story and a B story. If your B story isn't
when there was stuff like that going on in Red Room too, is the thing. That's what I'm saying. Is because like there was the whole story about like all the killers, and then there was a thing. I can't remember if it was the first series or the second series, but it was I can't remember which. It was one of the killers, like the one that was like a big big fat guy. It was like him at home, and like his daughter was like discovered that he was a killer, and the cops came and got him or something. And it was just, that's what I'm saying. It was just like, I was like, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's just that, like, I just somehow lost an interest in like horror, extreme horror. But I don't even think it's that. That's what I'm saying. It was just, there with Red Room, it just like there was something else that needed to be done or something. I don't know. I think maybe it was like it felt like maybe he was trying to force too much of a continuity into it, having like the same killers through all of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to kind of come up with all these stories of like, or explanations that, why, how are these killers? They're on the internet. They're broadcasting all these horrible deaths and murders and all this stuff. How are they managing to evade police and all this different, you know what I mean? Like it,
right.
I don't know. It just, there was something with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like there was just something with it that just, I almost feel like it would have been better if it was just more unrelated. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like it felt like he was trying to force it too much into, having an ongoing story where I think it would have been better if he would have stuck with just done more like, like a not Mad Magazine. Maybe it was Mad Magazine, but like the old, like the old EC horror stuff where it's like, just a random unconnected horror stories from issue to issue.
Right.
I think that would have worked better with it, but I don't know. And I have no idea how, if it was actually really well received or not. Like, you can still get like every issue.
Red Room, you mean?
Yeah.
You talked it up like it was the best selling thing Fantagraphics has ever done.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. I never saw like anything where he was like, and here's the sales numbers, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the things you got to say for crowdfunding and whatnot. Like, you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody buys your book, like everybody says, oh, two people bought his book. Awesome.
Comicsgate is accused of slush fund money, pushing money around. And that's how there's like the conspiracy for years was that there was 25,000, because if you would go on Ethan's stream, your comic book was almost guaranteed to raise $25,000. And so there was a conspiracy that sort of crept up that was there's a $25,000 slush fund that Ethan would inject into the the creators who would come on his show. He would artificially inject their campaigns with $25,000 to make it look like they were more
artificial insemination,
more successful than they were. But I'm not sure if you can look. I think you can turn off the actual number of contributors, or can you? Or is because if you just dropped in $25,000, that's a one-time donation. So if you had 8 contributors and the 9th one was $25,000, that would be easy to see, and that's not what was happening.
I think you can have hidden rewards that don't show up to show. If you have like your list of rewards, a comic with this cover, a comic with that cover, a T-shirt, whatever, and it'll tell you, like 20 people got this, 50 people got that. I think you can also have like hidden rewards that don't show. So I mean, I guess you could. I mean, if that's what the case was, I mean, I don't. That seems kind of.
Seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, outlandish. Yeah.
But some people argue, man. To this day, they argue that the confiscate is just the same money getting pushed around.
I mean, if Ethan can lend me 25,000 for a little while, I'll give it back. I'll give it back after a couple of years.
Are you going to do any crowdfunding this year?
That is the goal. That is the goal. I've been tense negotiations with a potential business partner.
That's the idea.
To be able to, there's assorted legal complications that I can't really, my legal team has advised me not to discuss.
Right.
Open forums, but
more of us should probably heed that advice. Talk about so much openly. But the plan is.
Yes.
This year?
But yes, the plan is to launch relaunch. Maybe I should do like a different name for it. I like relaunch, but then that's what I'm saying. Like maybe I'm like starting to like second guess myself, and maybe that's what I need to like no, I just need to get this done and do it. Because like relaunch from the start has been. Do I have a copy over here? I have a copy over here. I'll show you. But it's from the start, like I wanted it to be like an anthology kind of thing. Like, like the way like 8 Ball was an anthology, or like
Love and Rockets.
Exactly. You'll just do different stories on a consistent basis. And I also want to switch to working in more like a manga format, that smaller size for the printed thing, and then maybe do it like if there's like a big request for like we want regular size books or big books or something, maybe then do like artist editions or special editions or something like that later.
Right.
But it is cheaper to do the smaller size, and in my mind, maybe I'm crazy, right? That's possible, probably. But my concept is that if I print my stuff to appear as if it is some sort of other manga, like an alternative manga, right? Mm-hmm. Present it in the same format, and just kind of slip it in along with other manga stuff. That's how you get the kids to read it. You got to trick them. Yeah. Sneak it in there, like you put broccoli, underneath the macaroni and cheese or whatever, just like that, sneak, or like putting, you get a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. This is spoonful of sugar is the manga that's out there that kids are reading, the Demon Slayer, the Death Notes, the what's the Pirates one? I can't remember the name of it.
One Piece.
That's the sugar, and then I want them to just be like, oh, what's this? Another weird little manga book. Oh, and pick up. It'll have. I guess I could talk about that anyways. I've got the main story I've been working on set in. Where they just discover this Tartarian empire. That's you must have watched one of the videos I sent to you at some point now of the.
I haven't. I haven't. I forgot all about it. I need to.
Oh, jeez! I sent you the.
Sent me the one on St. Louis. I gotta watch that. I meant to watch it that night. I fucking forgot all about it.
Well, so I'll. That's the basic idea of where relaunch takes place, is in a world where the Tartarian Empire was real and has been hidden, and is in fact like a underground empire, right?
Mhm.
Or well, it's underground now. There was a giant flood of radioactive or demonic mud, flood, mud, right? Came up, flooded everything, right? So a lot of the things that were here before are now buried underground. You know, a lot of the buildings um, are much bigger than we think. You know, like a lot of them have like hidden underground stuff, which it's funny, like all this stuff is coming out in the news anyways about all these tunnels and whatnot in New York. They're tunneling underneath the synagogues. So it's odd because that's what I'm saying. That's not. I didn't have Zionists tunneling under synagogues, but maybe that's what I should put in, is that the Zionists, you know, are evil and are actually serving Satan. It's possible.
I have a one of the books that I've have written in is on my queue to draw this year is Cockhammer 3, The Devil's Dick. And it
Excellent.
all, if you've read Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel, at the end, Parander and Cousin Susie take over hell. And that's where Cockhammer 3, The Devil's Dick picks up, as they're in a domestic dispute and they break up in hell. And one of the things I talk about is the Zionists and where they ended up. Their postulation that Jesus is boiling an excrement in hell, whether or not that turned out to actually be true or not. I kind of play with that a little bit in that book. That's going to be a lot of fun to draw.
Excellent.
But what are you planning on doing it as a? What's the length? The length of this hypothetical, possibly financed, possibly not book that may or may not be released. Purely speculation. If it were to be released, how long would it be?
Like 200 pages is the goal.
200.
Yeah, I would say I've got between 50, 75 pages now.
Already done.
Right.
Okay.
And then I've
Your
got.
your shit's gonna be bigger than this. This is only 165.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is like a manga is that's you know, like the average size for, like, you know, you get a copy of you know, Death Note or Inuyasha.
Yeah, they run 100 to 200 pages.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe not 200, maybe it'll be 160 or 180. You know, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like a good chunk of comics, manga. You know.
Now,
But I've got. This is what I realized, is that I've got all these other horror stories and just weird stories, and probably about 100 or so different dreams that I've written down, and just, you know, all kinds of weird little scenes and like horrific ideas and stuff. And that's exactly, you know, I'm not gonna try and like sell you know, horror short stories to, you know, I don't want to go about trying to be a writer or whatever. Take
right.
those, rather than take the time that they would need anyways to turn them into like a polished story. Just use those as outlines and make comics out of them. The story's all there. I just have to draw it. And like, I wrote it, so I know what it is.
Right.
Like I've got like a modern Snow White tale, right? See, that's the other thing. When I went down to KillerCon in 2018, I printed out and published a bunch of these, and I gave them to like a whole bunch of people. I had a girl do the cover. I don't know why. The cover kind of sucks, but called Trash Snow White, and it's just
Okay.
it's just like
A little chapbook.
yeah. I just gave them. I gave one to Edward Lee. Gave some to Brian Keene. I assume Wrath.
Don't ever tell those guys you know. Don't ever tell those guys you know me.
Oh, I don't. You know, I don't. I don't. None of them have ever.
Woo! Does Brian Keene hate me?
Yeah, none of them have anything to do with me. So it's.
Yeah, that the first thing I did. I made a little chapbook of a Lovecraftian tale I wrote called Last Gig on Planet Earth, and printed it out like that with like a thicker green cover, black and white, but black and green, thicker cover, and then regular pages, and took like 20 or 25 copies to a horror convention and gave them away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's
before I published proper. Are you planning on launching this thing before the art's finished or afterwards? Are you going to draw the whole thing and then launch it, or are you going to just said you got 75 pages? Are you going to just
I would think launch it.
Stratosphere?
Yeah, I would think launch it before it's done. Like I'm not gonna. I could have every page has to be. Because I like what I figured to do with the campaign is run it on at least 2, maybe all 3 of the different sites. Like I'd started on Fund My Comic, right? I'm friends with the guy that runs that. Yeah, with Luke, Mr. Stone, good guy. Started on there and run it on there exclusively for a month or whatever, and then add in at least Indiegogo. I don't know. It'd probably be better for me to just do one at a time. You know what I mean? To have like the Fund My Comic going the whole time, and then also do Indiegogo for a month, and then maybe Kickstarter for a month as well, or whatever. Just that way I can get, because there's people that are on Kickstarter that aren't on Indiegogo. There's people that are on Indiegogo that aren't on Kickstarter. Like I don't want to get like I'm only running on Kickstarter. I'm only running. None of that really matters to me. Like I get the whole. I do think it's like shitty, like with Kickstarter, like they've kicked different people off, like they kicked Mike Barron off for
Indiegogo's done the same.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not like Indiegogo is really the best, because then there's also the thing where they supposedly shadow ban people. Like that.
They canceled my Cockhammer Lives Kickstarter when it was done, or I'm sorry, Indiegogo when it was finished, and it was in the final couple of days of its what do you call that overdraft phase? After you've already completed it and funded it, and then you can go into
like after it was like funded and like the campaign was over.
Yeah.
What?
And they had given me my money, but the thing was still open. I forget what they call that when you could have the campaign just like sit there and be open.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Then they canceled it after that. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I got my money out of that before they fucking
right
sucked me, because I've seen horror stories of guys get their book funded and then it gets so they go they send it off to the printer or whatever, or pay the artists or whatever it is,
right, and then
the phase they're in, and then Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whatever will zuck them and take their money and refund it back to the backers. And it's like, my God, at least that didn't happen.
Yeah,
at least that didn't happen to me. And then so I was like, well, I don't even know if I should try to run another campaign on Indiegogo. If they zucked me, they must have me flagged for running Cockhammer. So I ran Nixon and Hogan's Horror Weed Halloween, and I just kind of crossed my fingers and hoped that the campaign wouldn't get zucked, and it didn't. That one went fine.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like I don't look at either of them, the big two of the crowdfunders. I don't look at either of them as like this one's obviously the better. They're both questionable, sus. They're both sus.
Sus, as the kids say.
Yeah, sus. I mean suspicious. That's what that means.
Is that what that means? Oh.
That's what that means. Suspicious.
We don't have time. We don't have time to say the whole word.
Too much. It's too long.
Got to abbreviate it. We don't have
I don't know
time in the day to say whole words.
I don't know what cap means though. No cap.
No fucking idea what cap and no cap means.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Like cap? Like Captain America?
I know if somebody's saying that. No cap, no cap. They 100% have broccoli styled hair and they have a lanyard hanging out of their fucking sweatpants. No cap, no cap.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, no, that's not good.
For real. On God.
I can see, oh God. I can see for real. I've probably said that myself. Just, but it'd have to be quite something important to put it on God, It's...
Dr.Ben, I've got enough floppy comics at this point that I can start running crowdfunders and do a crowdfunder every quarter for the next forever. And I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I think the very next crowdfunder I'm going to do, and I kind of want to get it done in January, but I'm running out of January. Is my my comic that I did, this comic right here, Death to Strangeville, that I did as an exclusive to the Strangeville Comics Archive. That's like a 24-page comic. Has never been released as a physical comic. So I think we're launching Death to Strangeville very soon. And as soon as that's done, we're going to launch Too Many Dabs. And as soon as that's done, we're going to launch Too Many Dabs issue 2. And that gets us all the way through the third quarter of 2024. And by that time, the first issue of Wizard of Ganj will be long done. And we'll go right into Wizard of Ganj issue 1. I think I can just start crowdfunding these floppies and do them continuously. And I think I've got enough shit that I can just nonstop crowdfund forever now.
I can see that. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what if I thought about this the other day, you think about like the big two is Marvel and DC, right? Big two. And like people are realizing, like, for one, like you're only going to get the same thing at Marvel and DC. I think the big two is going to become more and more Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, it already has.
And it's just, that's going to replace the whole mentality of like, are you a Marvel zombie or are you like a DC fanboy? Are you a Kickstarterite or are you a Indiegogo?
I like Luke a lot. I just don't know if I feel comfortable putting my smut on his poor little wholesome Christian comics funding platform. And I've asked him directly, Luke, is there a place for adult underground comics on Fund My Comic? And his answer was very concise. Yes, as long as nothing on the campaign page has graphic nudity in it.
Right.
All right. I mean, God, I just don't want to do that to him. I don't want to cockhammer 3 the devil's dick on Fund My Comic. It just seems like I'm being an asshole to him. Like trying to get him to make my comic the first comic banned from Fund My Comic. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to do that on purpose. I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to put him in the position where he has to be like, he has to make that call and be like, fuck, I gotta ban a comic. I'm the place you're supposed to be able to go to not have to worry about, being a conservative or a Republican or a Christian and getting zucked by the fucking, the Rainbow Brigade And here comes Kevin Strange. Oh yeah, how about the Devil's Dick? Is that okay? I just don't know if I can do that to that poor guy.
Where? Oh, there we go. Let me. Well, do you know how to present screens on where you're drawing? I'm not gonna be like. I'm gonna say I'll pull up.
I can
Fun
pull
My
something
Comic.
up. What do you want me to pull up?
Once I pulled up Fun My Comic to see what if they've got any adult styled comics on there now.
I highly doubt it.
Dark of Midnight. I think.
How do I share your screen?
Uh,
You got to put it down in the lobby, and then I have to be able to bring it up. Right?
yeah, no, I don't know. So, well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Let me turn that off for a second. I'm gonna flip this thing around here.
I go to present, and I go to share screen, but that's share my screen. So,
yeah,
do you have that in your area down there? Do you have present?
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't do present off of the phone. If you go on yours, just share a different window. Like open up a separate window to window. I sound like I'm just from fucking Georgia. Open up another window on their computer. You just share like a separate window of whatever site you want to go to. That way you're not doing there you go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at maybe nothing's looking like adult so far. Rainy Road Roundup.
What would we even look up?
There's a part where it has all the stuff. Go down just a hair on there, list. It'll say, yeah, see all those little boxes. That's where I'm going, at least. That's where I went, was just comics to see what it has listed.
Floyd Band Swell. This is Underground Comics ish, isn't it? I thought I saw a promo for this.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
It says mature. There's a tag on it that says mature.
Maybe.
It says Robert Floydman Summer is the mind and imagination behind Planet F Studios. He got his start in the small press network in the 90s, producing his own comics, and moved to creating original sketch cards for Tops, like Garbage Pail Kids, Wacky Packages, and Sets for Dynamite. So he's a mainstream guy, but it does have a mature tag on it. Because here's it's Swell Comics. So he's presenting it as sort of an underground comics. What does that say right there? I can't. Does that say mature humor for a humorless world? So it does have a mature tag on it. Here's the page. Oh, this looks cool as fuck. I mean, look at it.
Can you
see that real well?
Let me see here. Let me pull it over. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah.
It looks like a Mad Magazine style.
You know what it reminds me of? You know that Jason Fucator? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, I know Fucator. He's cool.
Yeah. That reminds me of like the way his stuff looks too. It's got that same
Fucator hand letters and hand colors. He inks letters and colors all by hand. I mean, it must take him forever.
And it doesn't, like, his colors are so freaking just smooth and just
beautiful stuff.
I don't know how he does it. It's fucking.
I'm gonna click this mature tab. I'm gonna click this mature tag and see what we have under mature.
That might be the way to go. Is there?
Kitaru Witch Hunter looks a little sus. Oh, here we go. Shadow Hunters number 5 has big ass titties on the cover. Not much. It looks like only about 8 to 10 books have the mature tag.
It just happened. What just happened? Okay.
Graphic novel mature, comics mature, manga mature. There are different tags for that. So yeah, they got naked titties on the cover. They're covered by their hair. Are you looking at this?
Yes.
Okay. Those kind of look like 3D models. If we're talking about if we're criticizing Eric July, that looks a little, don't you think? They look a little 3D modelish. Maybe not.
Oh yeah. Well, the art down there doesn't, but like that.
No, the art doesn't down there is
the
different from the
cover.
art on the cover.
Yeah, the cover definitely looks.
Oh, this stuff looks cool. I like this. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, this page in particular looks awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We got ass and some barely covered titties and whatever that is in her mouth. The chip.
I like the idea of it, but there's something. Her butt is in the wrong spot.
Her butt is where her back should be. She's got a butt back. Yeah, here's all this digital stuff. Look at the titties on the. So
yeah.
And I'm not saying this stuff is like this is the normal kind of horny teenager kind of stuff that you would see on a comic book stand.
Yeah.
Cockhammer 3, The Devil's Dick, is so much more. Look, you can even get the nude cover here.
Oh,
Shadow Hunters 1 nude. $25. How many pages is it for $25?
Jason Doob. Where do I know that name from?
Doesn't say how many pages there are. That's an important buying point for me. I don't want to spend $25 if it's 20 pages.
Does it have it? That one's just too much.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. It's just too silly.
Let's see if it says up here for number 5 how many pages number 5 is.
Sexy Monster Girls. Let me pull this up. What is it called? Shadow Hunters?
Shadow Hunters number 5. I don't see any reference to the page. It's a 46 page serial comic, so 45 pages for $25. A little steep.
Well, it's from California.
A little steep. For by contrast, let me stop sharing. For $5 more, you get 164 pages.
Wait, or no, you can get it. You can get it for 20.
Oh, it's the nude cover the titties on the cover is what gives you.
Only perverts would automatically go to the $25. I have to get the nude cover.
I got you. So he allows that stuff on there. That's okay. I just don't know if I want to bring the big dick Strangeville.
That's the way to do it. Everyone's at the bar. Everybody's a cute girl. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do. what's going to make more of an impression if you come in and like, oh, I've also got a dick, or if you come in and
slam that fucker.
boom, there it is. Check it out. Oh, shit,
Slam that fucker
over.
over.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the way to enter. Is just come in. Here it is. The devil's dick in your face. 3 feet long, covered with barbs.
It is covered with barbs. That's a selling point. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. I had a lot of success with Indiegogo. I moved over to Kickstarter with Space Worms to see if I could get a different and a bigger audience, and I didn't. I actually had a smaller audience over there. So I think I want to go back to Indiegogo and do Death to Strangeville over there. And it'll be like an $8. It'll be like an $8 price point with like a $5 shipping. So it'll be $13 altogether. After shipping, we'll get you the book.
See, that's what I'm saying though. I think you can do you can do them on both sites, like at the same time, or like approximately. I think it's at the same time because like when I covered that Santos sisters, they had whatever their latest Santos sisters thing was, and it was on both. It was on Indiegogo and it was on Kickstarter. Both of them are on at the same time.
I think that Luke gives you a 3%.
Yeah. If you do it,
if you go exclusive on his for the first 30 days. And my printer, I go through Comics Wellspring. They give you 10% a 10% discount on printing if you put their logo, their little whatever placard on your campaign for the first 30 days. And then if you use Funder, is that one? Funder?
I think so.
Funder, they give you an additional 5, so you get a 15% discount if you go through Funder. But I've never used that. So I'll probably just take the 10%.
Right. Yes. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure if I want to. I definitely want to start. Like I said, start it on Fun My Comic. I like Luke. I think this is the thing too. Is I think part of it is just going to be having it out there, and having it. Hey, look, I've gotten a campaign up. You know, I've been in this. I've been in that. Blah blah blah. Don Simpson hates me, or whatever. You know. And basically look at it as like kind of like the headquarters of like, this is where, because you can set it to like combine all your totals, right? So if you have like 2 campaigns or 3 campaigns or whatever going for the same book on these different sites, it'll total all of them, I believe. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like I and all of this is all, you know, theoretical, as I haven't run a crowdfunder yet, so it's going to be successful. Which it'll be interesting, is what I'm sure. I'm positive is it's going to be.
What are you at on subs on your channel now?
130.
Great.
But I haven't.
You gotta keep cranking those videos out, man.
I know. That's what, like, I fell off, and I've just been like,
what's up with that? You got great comics, dude. You pick these weird comics that I love watching those videos you do, because you pick the coolest looking comics, and I love the way you go through and analyze the art and the story. That one, what was the book that you were just bitching about that ridiculous dialogue all the way through? What
was it?
Which book was that was like overwrought with the stupidest dialogue? It was a really cool looking book. Was it a Wolverine book? It was the Wolverine.
Yes, it was Wolverine Inner Fury.
Yeah,
because it was Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, it's Sienkiewicz art that's fantastic, and then the stupidest dialogue covering up everything, covering all that art with the most inconsequential, dumb dialogue. It was cracking me up every time you would bitch about the fucking word balloons.
Yeah, there is. That's the thing. Like like I thought about, like, because it's like I went over like how you mentioned that Rav book, right? Like I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
that
like
was
what was going to happen
fantastic.
with that because like a lot of the comics people, as we've discussed, are not, like it's hard to know like what exactly they're at, if they're going to be the person that is going to be angry because you're different, you're special, and they're or if they're going to be like the person who's like, I don't care, like I of course vote for Joe Biden, but I don't care what like, because there's plenty of people that are like that aren't toxic, just
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's performative, where they bitch about that stuff publicly because they think that's what gets them work or gets them in the club. That's the clubhouse password, is having Trump derangement syndrome on social media. But in reality, they don't really care.
and that's
But as
what
far
I
as you being a
figured it was.
comic reviewer, though, like that's none of their business. You can review any comic you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like that's something.
Watch, I'll do it right now. This guy's dead. He doesn't care. But look, Poison Elves volume. Which volume is this?
Oh yeah,
Poison Elves volume 6.
six.
It's basically the guy that Sirius is one of the outlaw publishers.
Oh, yeah. No, I know
Pretty
about
much. What's up?
Yeah,
Talking to me?
Talking to me? What? Lucifer. I know about Drew Hayes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got
A deceased comic guy. He's a Drew Hayes is kind of a he was kind of like a Dave Sim, right? He did like volume after volume after volume of this book. It's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, brilliant pages.
Yeah, he is. Because
Of this Poison Elves, and this is basically the book that launched, or the main book that Sirius released. Now, Sirius also does this Armageddon Quest. I told you about this last time.
yeah. I remember you were showing me that. That was.
Yeah, I'm on to. I don't think I had volume 2 and 3 yet. I think they were still in the mail. But I've got volume 2 and 3 now, and these are Sirius released books. But I could talk about this book all I want to. Fuck them. I wouldn't be concerned about whether a creator's gonna like your.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I get worried. I'm like, are they gonna then like? I'm like, and I'm like, then I think about it. I'm like, well, if they don't like me, then like, well, fuck it. Who cares? So you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like I have all these arguments in my head, and then like I answer them, and then I'm like, what am I even talking about? What?
Look at this beautiful stuff. This is from Poison Elves. This is this is Drew. What is his name? Drew Hayes.
Yeah.
Drew Hayes. Yeah, this is him doing fishnets.
Yeah, he is.
Amazing. Crazy faces that he does. I want to get all the other volumes of this. I looked it up, and they're not cheap.
They just had a Kickstarter thing too of like all of it was like the complete Poison Elves.
Really?
I think it was like there was something. I want to say like maybe it wasn't like a printed version. Now I'm like just like really curious now, because like I remember seeing it because it was like you could get like oh no, it wasn't hardcover. Okay, it wasn't complete. Oh, this is book 1. Okay, I see. But it was, you could get book 1, and you could also get 500 pages. I think it was like you could get like a USB drive, a wooden USB drive that was. Whoa. It says it's 500 pages, but I don't think that's all of it, because this is.
No, this alone, this volume 6 alone looks like it's 200 plus pages.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, this is book 1. It says it's I, Lucifer 1 to 7, and then Poison Elves 8 to 20. Oh, okay. So that's what it was. It was the first 20 issues, and then that's when it went to Cyrus. I see. Special bundle. Okay, so it was the kicks. I thought it was like all of it, but I guess I was just smoking crack that day because it was like, wow, you get everything on a USB drive. That's crazy. But no,
I like to smoke crack every day, personally.
Yeah, it's every other day, you know.
Buddy, I'm gonna call this. We've been on here almost 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta take a dump.
Yeah, I gotta load the stove some more. I think I gotta go outside and pull some more wood in. Wood
Is your whole setup wood fired?
Yeah. Well, I can show you actually. Hold on. You can get
my dad has his my dad has his whole thing set to wood fired. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mine's just a big old fucking pig stove there.
It's great.
Yeah, that's.
How many rooms is it heating?
Like half of one.
Half of one. Oh.
It is not the best. Not the best. They're saying that they're gonna switch to. They want to go to just doing put in a gas line out here for next year. I wish they would have thought to do that last year, though. But,
right. Yeah, I'm about to shit all over my computer table or my computer desk here, so I'm gonna call this good stream.
As always.
Please do some more video reviews.
Okay.
I look forward to this.
Well, I've been deep in study on all those mangas that Yoshiharu Tsuge. I can't remember how you pronounce his name. I've been deep in research on those because they're like all this old manga that's there's either horror stories or there's also like surreal ninja stories, surreal samurai, just like mature stories, but not like porn, just like mature, like good stuff. And then like in the back of each volume, it has like these text pieces that like go into like excruciating detail about like he started here and then he published it at this place and then this happened and then he met this guy, and it's like I've been nerding out on it, just like, oh, okay, so how do I explain, how do I do a review of this? What do I even say? But I hear you. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I will. I guess I should probably turn off my thing to stop the other stream. All right. Well, I'll close that one. What am I doing here? I'll play that out. Okay. No.
Colored skin,
and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat baby. Have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy with sick stuff, man. She sleeps in that same room as a creepy widow woman whose mother wears a hood like sulfur.